What's up, guys? It's Juan here from the JJ podcast. I'm with my friend here who's going to introduce himself.
Yo, yo, it's your boy Jeremy Medina.
So, I'm going to cut straight to the chase here, Jamie. We learned a lot this year. We read a lot of different readings and books, and it was a really long year due to COVID and us being remote and everything. But we met Mr. Farrar, who's a great teacher, and he taught us a lot and he introduced us to many great readings. But which one do you think is your favorite one?
Yeah, it has been a long year, like you said, and Farrar is an amazing teacher, and he brought us a lot of books this year. And one of my friends he introduced us to was Fences, and mainly because was it taught me a lot of valuable lessons in life.
I
What about you?
completely agree. And to that question, really like Senses. It was actually a really good book and a reading, but I'm gonna have to go with Catcher in the Rye. This is because Catcher in the Rye taught me a lot of lessons too, like you said, but I connected with it more emotionally than it wasn't just the reading I did for the paper and for the work, but I really liked the reading and I would go off reading it by myself sometimes too. So, you brought up the fact that you've learned the valuable lessons in life from Fences. Could you explain one to me?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of them is when we were reading the book, obviously, Troy cheated on his wife, and for me, that's just a big no-no. Because when you're married to someone, you committed to them, you have to stay with them for the rest of your life. And if you cheat, that's just breaking the bond you guys have. And for me, I always want to have a good bond with my future wife, maybe. And yeah, that's why.
Yeah, I completely agree. Cheating is not good. And you can see in Fences, his whole life went down. Hill, after he ended, started cheating and everything, just for moments of happiness, he ruined an everlasting family.
Totally agree. And what about you? What did you learn from Catcher in the Rye?
Well, Catcher in the Rye shows us how our main character, he doesn't want to leave his young self behind, and he won't accept the fact that he has to grow up. So it kind of taught me a lesson that, like, at some point we're all gonna grow up. I'm never gonna stay 17 for the rest of my life, like I've never stayed 15. I'm gonna go off to college soon, so I kind of learned that I have to let go of the past and just focus on the future, whether it's ups or downs.
I totally
So,
agree.
how would you use this lesson to your everyday life?
Well, as soon as I'm old enough and I grow mature and everything, I know from looking back at experience from when I was in high school, I'll know that cheating is a very bad thing from just reading Fences. And yeah, I'll
Yeah,
know
I
never to cheat on
totally
anyone.
agree. That will definitely stop you from cheating. But yeah, but Fences was really good, and I totally agree with the cheating part.
Yeah. And the same question you asked me, how would you how would you relate that?
Till my everyday life.
Yes.
Well, I'm someone who's kind of really scared of the future and what it holds, like what my job will be, like if I'll have a family and where I'll live. So I always tell myself I wish I could stay 17 forever, or I wish I was 13 and I could just stay 13 forever. But I kind of learned catching the ride that I can't do that, and time keeps going and the sun keeps rising. And at some point, I'm gonna be 30, I'm gonna be 40, and I'm gonna have to keep growing up. So I'm gonna use this to my everyday life to the point where I'm not scared to grow up anymore and I've accepted it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like a lot of people have the same problems letting go in the past. People believe that, oh, my best years were when I was young, but they have to know that life keeps getting better and better.
That's 100% right. One last question. Why did you relate to this reading? Well, how do you relate to this?
Um, well, I feel like I relate to this because I'm not saying I've done my fair cheating on women, but I've cheated on certain things. Not gonna say what, but I have. But I know that it's the wrong thing to do,
Yeah, of course.
and I know that I will not try to do it in the future. I'll try my best never to do that in the future.
Okay,
And
yeah.
yeah. And same question to you.
Well, I relate to this reading because, as I said before, I'm someone who's kind of scared of growing up. But I relate to this because, just like our main character, I've always wanted to stay as a kid, and no matter how old I am, as I'm 17, I want to stay 17. But I relate to this a lot because he also went through a lot of ups and downs, being alone a lot, and sometimes every one of us feels alone at some point. So it's kind of something relatable, as he was also our age too. He was around 16, 17. So a lot of things he thought of and a lot of things he said were a lot of the things that I sometimes think on my everyday life. So it was good having a reading that was relating to someone our certain age who we understood a
Yeah.
lot.
And I feel like people should try to take advantage when they're young, because you're only 17 once, you're only 18 once. You just gotta live your best life.
Yeah, I agree. There's no point of even focusing in the past or the future. You gotta live in the present and just let time figure it all out.
Totally agree.
So I think that's it for me today, Jamie. I want to thank you for joining us today and for answering questions. And I also want to thank Mr. Farrar for such an amazing year of English and being such a great teacher.
I'd like to say thank you for having me as a host, and I wish everyone a happy summer. I wish Farara a happy summer, and I hope everyone has a very good 2021 summer.
So that is JJ Podcast for you guys. I'm Juan Mejia, and I was here today by our amazing guest, Jamie Medina. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.